Would you buy a property with 12 total strangers in order to hack the cost of housing? One lady in North Vancouver did exactly that. Heidi had a dream to own a cottage in Horseshoe Bay, one of Vancouver's most expensive municipalities. Now, believe it or not, there was actually a property that went for sale a few years ago with 8 of these cottages on them, and it went for sale at what would now seem as a reasonable price of $3.8 million. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. Now, rather than try to buy this property herself, which would have been totally unaffordable, she somehow gathered 12 total strangers and one interesting investor, and they managed to buy the property. Now, these same strangers she calls neighbors, and they live on the property with her, spread out between the other cottages, one would assume. But the story further goes on to state that none of this would have been possible without the help of one unique investor who didn't even live on the property. Alan Carpenter, a local man in his 70s, apparently felt so strongly about wanting to help out this woman and her cause that he and his friends supposedly invested $2.5 million into the project. I thought this sounded very cool, but I was very curious at who does this sort of thing. And then I saw this man was standing outside the place that he lives, called the Winsong Cohousing Community in Langley. This is their website. Now, I've only been to this co-housing facility once in my 10-year career, so just for fun, I wanted to show you what it looks like inside the townhome complex. Everything is bright and multicolored, and everybody faces towards each other very closely. I have to say it was one of the most impressive tours I've ever been to in my life, and also one of the most interesting tours I've ever been on my life. Anyway, of course I had to search up this interesting Alan guy on LinkedIn, and I discovered a very impressive resume there, despite no profile picture. While the article just made him out to sound like a kind older man who was trying to invest in a passion project, I discovered that he's actually been the director for the Canadian Cohousing Network for 32 years and the manager of the shareholder of Cohousing Investment Equity Fund for the past 30 years. So I went down the rabbit hole even further and found out on their website that BC has more co-housing projects than any other province at a whopping 29. Ontario had 12, while Alberta had just 2. Anyway, would you choose to live in a co-housing development to save on the cost of housing, or is that idea too weird for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you found value in this video, please give it a like and a share, and please follow for more great content.